In today's Tactical Tuesday episode, I want to cover one important topic of playtesting. With Nationals less than a month away, players are quickly proxying up decks and playing the BT11 format. The problem? What are you bringing to Nationals? As always, if you enjoy these types of videos, do consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell for more future content. Many content creators, myself included, have promoted Black War Greymon X being one of the main contenders coming up in BT11. One, because it has stupid consistency with Agumon searchers. Two, it has cheap reduction costs in the form of Greymon X, protection out the wazoo, and of course, attack redirects and destruction if you unsuspect. Many effects from the BT9 format are very powerful and enable you to do this, but with BT11 some decks get an even bigger upgrade. But here's the thing, with playtesting different decks or variants of decks, you are able to prepare for some of your matchups. Nationals in particular will highlight in my mind 5 decks: Black War Greymon X, Grandis Kuagumon, Melga X, Security Control, and Crossheart. But here's the thing, even if you play against these decks 24/7 for the next 3.5 weeks, none of that matters if you go into a round where you play against a deck you have no idea what it does. Because ultimately, you might know what Metal Greymon does. You might know what Cool Boy does. But what happens if your opponent has some janky strat that catches you off guard? You don't block, you do block, and it was a bait. And the reason why I bring up this topic is because every deck I've playtested for my Meta Monday episodes have been Black War Greymon X, Melga X, Grandis, Mastamon, and Security Control. But after I played Jesmon against Black War Greymon X, it opened a realization that there are some decks that will just perform well against others, and ultimately it's going to be a roll of the dice on what you play against. I've covered this before, and I'll say it again. Just because you go into a tournament with the expectation of a certain deck, doesn't necessarily mean you'll just play against that deck. While it is statistically likely, another variable after that is whether your deck has the capability to rebound from bricking, or if your security hides any potential goodies that can sway the match in your favor. So overall, when playtesting, number 1, play against everything, even if it's jank. Learning as much as you can about the different effects and combinations can tip the game in your favor. And it's not just because you'll know what the card does. It'll keep your matches more smooth if you're aware of a your turn effect versus an all turns effect. Number 2, when in doubt, ask your opponent what something does. And even then, if you doubt a mechanic or ruling, call a judge. I cannot stress the number of times my wife would tell me how her opponent told her that a card effect played a certain way, and she took it completely at face value. But when she anecdotes it to me later, I have to furrow my eyebrows and think, that's not what that does. Why didn't you call a judge? These are pieces of advice I offer when it comes to playing in tournaments now, because you can't trust RNG will roll that deck that you're strong against, or even weak against. You may literally hit something that just confuses the heck out of you, leading to a potential game loss, or even a match loss. Which leads to a slew of other discussions. Have you ever gone into a tournament with the expectations that you'd be playing the top tier deck of the time, only to run against some of the jankiest builds you've ever seen? Let me know your thoughts on this short Tactical Tuesday topic, and I'll catch you next week on another one. This is DigiPanda, logging out.